YouTube, what's going on? This is Jones with C.T.S.O. Cut that shite out. Hey, real quick, I wanted to talk about a few things. I wanted to put a few things in your head. First off, let me make sure this camera's straight. First off, the Hawaii scare. Listen, and that sucks. That's terrible because people were legitimately throwing, putting their kids down storm drains and going through the biggest lengths to make sure they're as safe as possible. There's not really nothing you can do. But people were explaining to their children certain things, and that just had to been a scary fucking time. Listen, and I'm sorry to hear that. That's ridiculous. Nothing like that should happen. But that that really pissed some people off. And you know what? I don't know how long some people waited somewhere until they were able to find out when they could come out of wherever they were hiding or wherever they were ducking and covering. All right, that's that's just not right. But what I do want to you need to keep in mind is that if I can put a few things in your head, some speculations. All right, so we've got that happened, and that's real weird, right? It's odd that that happened. Listen, you're not going to hit a button. One button isn't going to cause all that chaos. It's not a button. It was, to me, it looks like it was done on purpose. Okay, it was done on purpose, and it looks like they were probably like it wasn't the employees who worked there. They were infiltrated, all right, from an outside source. It just so happens that CNN was already on the scene, okay? As if CNN was on the scene. Now you already know we are in a civil war. This is a part of war. You know what else is a part of war? Unfortunately, false flags. Do you remember when we dropped that bomb? Trump dropped the Moab bomb, mother of all bombs, right? That was based off of a false flag. There were videos or what have you came up on the television being shown that in Syria people were Hassan had bombed, not bombed, but whatever you call it, had bombed his own people with sarin gas. That was old footage. So, that is what you would call a false flag. And I wrote down the definition because I didn't want to steer y'all wrong. The definition of a false flag is an operation conducted by one party or government and made to appear as though it were sponsored by another party or government. These are war tactics, all right? It can get you thinking that something happened when really that did not happen. Old footage or what have you, staged events. That's what that looks like to me. So for those of you who want to find answers on why that happened, to me, if you were to talk to me, I'm telling you that that was not an accident. That was on purpose. That was to possibly, that right there could have started, we could have just straight up shot North Korea for no reason on that false flag. And by the way, a lot of us are saying that North Korea is a puppet of the Pentagon or CIA or some type of American rogue entity right now. Because as you know, we are in a civil war. Okay? The government is split in half. They're warring against each other. This I know, and it might sound terrible, but that's what's going on. So if you keep this in mind, that could have been what they were looking for us to shoot at North Korea. Now, what the end game is, I don't know. But if we were to shoot at North Korea, a lot of other people would be looking at us, and we would be in great danger, okay? If we were to shoot at North Korea, that would have been a problem, a big problem. Who knows? Maybe they would have been ready to shoot our rockets down. When I say they, any one of these countries around us that we're not sure who's our friend or not, behind closed doors, we really don't know. To me, who's to say who's in cahoots with who's friends with who's enemies with who? There's a lot of actors out there, and inside of war, deceiving is the main part of war. That's a big portion of war is deceiving. And right now, as you can tell, our media is deceiving us because we are in this civil war. Who's really to tell who's on whose team and who's not? When I saw that Steve Bannon is not quite on our team, you got to be kidding me. Because I thought Steve Bannon was a Patriot, and I still kind of am like, man, you too old to be playing these games, man. What are you talking about? Steve, come on, cuz. Not you. So I don't, who's to know who is with who? This is a dangerous game, and this is 3D chess, all right? You got to be real careful. So when they sent that alert, that could have gone the wrong way. That could have started a war. So keep in mind that Kim Jong-un of North Korea, he actually went to school in Switzerland, and apparently, went to the same type of schooling as other CIA and other people in our government. So if that information is correct, then yeah, there's a large chance that he is our puppet, and we make that regime, that rogue state, we make them do what we need them to do to get things done. Unfortunately, war makes money for these people. And as you know, the New World Order is to get everybody sick, right? To depopulate, to kill people. The New World Order is to kill people so that the 13 families can have their power over the whole earth with less people. They want to depopulate the earth. That's the main thing in the New World Order, is to depopulate the people and for the 13 families, for their wealth to skyrocket. The difference between a person and them. They want to keep that gap huge, okay? And when I'm talking about these 13 families, the money that they've got couldn't even fit on a calculator. You understand what I'm saying? Can't even fit on a calculator. So listen, it's wild. I know it sounds crazy, but it's wild. But those are the things that are going on. So I want you to keep that in mind when you are thinking about Hawaii. Think about North Korea. Was that meant for us to shoot at North Korea and then us be shot down? Like that's the beginning of war. Was that made to nudge us towards war? You really have got to ask yourself that question. And by the way, today and yesterday, I've been listening to JFK and Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan warned us of the New World Order, of these other entities running our government. So did JFK. Both of them warned us. But I'm not sure if the crowd that they were warning really knew what they were talking about. I'm not sure. Um, but man, Reagan, not that JFK's was bad, but Reagan's speech was amazing. But he spoke about, hey, I used to be a Democrat, not anymore. And he spoke about where the dollar was going. The dollar's going down further than it should. We've raised the debt ceiling 3 times within the past 12 months. And he's really giving it to you, telling you what exactly is going on. And I think the year that he was making this speech was 1964. The JFK speech, I'm not sure when that was, but JFK speaks of other entities running our country. And he tells a few jokes throughout it. And that's his style. But JFK, he also warned us about this. Those two presidents warned us about our republic being taken from us, our sovereignty being taken from us, and land being taken from the American people so that we can no longer grow our own food and cattle and all this good stuff that we need to survive and for others to survive and for them to make money and for us to eat healthy. So this is a big problem. So we were warned by both JFK and Ronald Reagan. And it's sad because it's been so long and I haven't really heard anybody bring this up. So if you go to YouTube, go on YouTube that, I bet you don't even have to search through their speeches. It just comes up properly. The Ronald Reagan speech, within the first 6 minutes, he's speaking of all the things that you need to hear. And these are the things that are going on right now. So it's going to be possibly a tough, this is something tough that we're up against right now, that these elites, these few people who think that they can run the country better than we can, the people who are actually in the country, and that they decide our our fate, all right? Like I've mentioned before, disease, our food, the crap that they're putting in the air, and it drops into the water. This is a problem. And I'm not sure where all the mercury's coming from, but I'm guessing that's where all the mercury's coming from. Because as I'm trying to eat healthy, I'm hearing that when you eat a bigger fish, there is so much mercury. So you need to eat other types of fish, bigger fish like tuna and this and that and that and this. There's so much mercury in them that it's just not good for you. So this has got to be dropping out of the sky. You know, it drops out of the sky because they've been doing a lot of chemtrailing lately. Drops out of the sky, hits the ground, and it flows to the water. And the water is tainted. These people are killing our earth. So those are some things I wanted to bring up. So you know what a false flag is, right? So now you know what a false flag is. You should have something to think about for that Hawaii missile crisis emergency alert, which is not funny. People were telling their children, I mean, they were pretty much praying for the children, telling them, you know, I'll see you on the other side. There's nothing funny about that. That's terrible. And you know it's not just one button to send off a mass alert everywhere. What you got, like one button sticking out and your butt bumped it and it happened to type all that out and go to all sorts of channels? That makes come on, man. That makes no sense. We're not stupid like that. And then CNN was already on the scene. I just saw a YouTube video where CNN was there watching people run. That was 38 minutes, within a span of 38 minutes. CNN's not going to fly down there and be there that quick. They were already there. So something to me is super fishy. It ain't even, come on, man. Come on, man. So this is just ridiculous. There's nothing, listen, people were putting their kids in storm drains, cuz, come on. That ain't. So with that being said, I've overheard over the radio, I forget what I was listening to, but not over the radio. You know, I YouTube news, and I was listening to some news, and some lady sitting here telling Trump that you need to go sit down with North Korea because this is all Trump's fault, and that he needs to sit down and have a talk with Kim Jong-un and hash this out so that this never happens again, and that this was all his fault, and that the tension is all Trump's fault. You have got to be kidding me. We have tried to do this over and over and over again with Kim Young Bastard. Bastard, I am telling you. We've tried over and over again. But words aren't doing it. And they're not doing it. But he's also not crazy. Like I said, they're trying to nudge us to bomb him. And I think they're going to shoot down what we've got. They know what we've got. Whoever they is. I really don't even know who they are. Because there's just so many people lurking in the shadows. But it seems as though they want to nudge us. And as soon as we overstep our boundaries just a little bit, all sorts of havoc can break loose. Different nations coming to hit us because we violated the rule of law, possibly. These are things that can happen. So it looks like, as I was saying, we're in a civil war, and one part of our government is trying to nudge us to mess with this fool, to violate. And we haven't done it yet, thank God, and we're not having it. But this is what's going on. On other news, and something that I want to dig deep into, apparently there's been a lot of Sam's Club closings, like record closings. I don't know if it was like 64 stores or what have you in the East Coast alone. Keep in mind, the FEMA camps, some of y'all know about FEMA camps. That's something that I thought was gonna happen to us if Hillary would have won. That was definitely something on the agenda. But right now, why is that happening right now? Why did all those stores close? And if you don't know about the FEMA camps, please look that up just for a little bit. Get a quick glimpse on the FEMA camps and the coffins that are able to fit 3 bodies. They have a crap ton of coffins able to fit 3 bodies to go along with those FEMA camps. Also, if you look up Kellogg's and UN vehicles, United Nation vehicles, Kellogg's, United Nation vehicles. Apparently, Kellogg's has been warehousing United Nation vehicles. Now, these are all very scary things to me because in martial law, where the government takes over, they run in your house and they can pull you out of your house. That's when the government takes over, civil unrest. So when really heavy things happen, civil unrest, the government can take people and put them wherever they see fit. And when I say government, I mean the bad part of government, not the government that Trump was talking about, all right, on his side, and possibly the bad part. But right now, there's some weird things going on with this. So I'm going to look into this a little better later on. But I wanted to bring that on in this video. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to catch y'all later.